join in the discussion, and then they run rampant with like different ideas of what they think flat Earth is, mixed in with what it's like. And that's why, like, coming into this forum, a lot of people that have flat Earth tag aren't just flat earthers. They're like they're still in cognitive dissonance, all that residual baggage from their ideas of like, well, they were lied about the globe. Now they're gonna like know the truth. So all the truth, everything that they hear is gonna be, yeah, that's a possibility. No, it's not. So it's like you can't do that. Like this isn't the like. Well, yeah, you're a flat earther. Cool, bro. Let's think that the Earth is as we have a map of the moon, like on the whole Earth. Like that, these ideas, right? Like you can't do that. That's how we got in the mess in the first place. Like making all these assumptions, like that. You cannot do that. You have to just think about things logically, and it is what it is. Like, I mean, we're dealing with it on all levels. So just having people like really, and that's why I'm not very liked in this forum when it comes to flat earthers because of that fact. I will always just like listen. Like if it's something that you can verify, you can talk about it in a way that we can all look into it, and that's great. I like it. But when it's something that's speculation, just say, hey, it's my speculation. There's no harm in that. But when you're coming in here as a matter of fact, as a flat earther, then you might end up in a bad way because of that.
I proudly share that judgment with you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've always expected like this forum was something different, and people even say that this forum is not the same like these other flat earth platforms, and it's not. We've curated it to be what it is. It has painstakingly curated to be this way. People hate this forum if you can't use your speculation as a matter of fact. And they're like, well, I'll go somewhere. Go ahead, man. Like, that's the point.
That's right.
There's other forums.
There's a time and a place for everything, and the people that have the platform can determine what they want to restrict on their platform. I have no problem with that whatsoever myself. When it comes to especially something like this where you can join and speak and any Joe Blow can show up. So yeah, there's nothing wrong with having some stricter rules, but it's nice to have a place too that if you wanted to get a little deeper with someone that you can go wherever and then talk to them. But again, like you said,
oh look, Mr. Sensible popped in here.
It's funny because there's one of the prevailing worldviews among not just flat earthers but alternative cosmology in general is something that intellectually I'm very on board with, and it's the thing that I come to blows the most with me saying, look, a lot of that speculation, I'm not going to go into what it is, but there are things I believe, but I accept that it's a belief. And I won't insert it into anything I talk about at all.
Exactly.
Because
Meme, I don't know if you know. I don't know, guys. I don't know if you know. We just have Mr. Sensible pop in here. He was on a debate with Witsit. Is he unmuted? Can we unmute that guy, Mr. Sensible?
Do I know Mr. Sensible?
He was on a debate with Witsit. I think Witsit had a debate with him and Conspiracy Cats.
Okay.
Is he? Let's see, what roles does he have? Because if you're in this VC, we do want to talk to you. So go ahead and open up your mic if you got. If not, let me see if I can give you a role. Oh, he doesn't have any. Okay. All right, I just unmuted you. If you are who I think you are, you don't need any introduction. You can go ahead and speak if you want. Mr. Sensible, are you there? Hello? You are muted. You have control of your mic.
All right, then keep your secrets.
All right, keep your secrets. I went ahead and gave him BC verified in case it's.
Thanks, man.
Bugging with him.
Oh man, I might get up my good microphone. This might be interesting, and it might not. Mr. Sensible, are you there? You can bring him back.
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I've got some issues trying to get my setup working. My screen's not working. You guys carry on. I'll jump in a few minutes if that's all right.
That's all right.
Okay, cool.
Hey, by the way, before you come back again, you are the Mr. Sensible that has had a debate with Whitsitt, right? Just to be sure. I don't
Sorry, I
want to
just lost the sound then. I heard you saying, am I that Mr. Sensible who had that debate with Whitsitt? Yes, I am.
Yeah. Okay, good. We can just label him Globe Earther then, meme.
Okay,
He's good to go.
no problem. Manage.
Yeah, I think I'm all sorted now.
Any other
Before he
tags?
starts talking, I want to make sure it's a one-on-one and a civil conversation. You guys know the drill, Sergeant. Go ahead, man.
But it's I mean, yeah, it's an open forum. You guys can chime in. But yeah, this is Mr. Sensible, the guy who had the debate with Whitsitt. So I guess if you wanted to talk to him about that specific thing, or I don't know, maybe if you want to say something, Mr. Sensible, it's up to you. But we already know your position. But if you want to state it for us, why do you think the Earth is what it is, and what evidence do you have to back that up? So that's usually our introduction for everyone. So you're no different, getting no special treatment or anything. It's just how we operate this forum. So if you just want to give us a rundown of what you think the Earth is and why, your position basically, so everybody here knows who doesn't know you.
Well, basically, I was just trawling around, and I just saw that I had the 24/7 Discord link on my set of links, and I just thought, oh, I'll have a listen, see what they're talking about. That's all. Yeah, standard globe position. The prevailing, beg your pardon, prevailing view of how the Earth, the solar system, and the galaxy is understood to be and understood to behave. All that you would expect from a globie.
Could I ask kind of a cognitive question?
Ask away.
Sure. If I were to ask you, how do you know for certain that you're in a galaxy? What would your answer be?
How do I know that we're in a galaxy?
How do you know for certain that you're in a galaxy?
Well, we can see the what do you call it? The Milky Way, which is looking across the cross section, the flat cross section of the galaxy, and we can see all the other galaxies. Stars that we can see are all in galaxies. I didn't realise that was contentious at all.
Well, I mean, you're talking about the Great Rift, right?
Well, isn't the Great Rift one of the gaps between arms of the galaxy? We can see the dust clouds and the band of stars of the Milky Way as we look towards galactic central.
Sorry, I got a spam call right then. If you never looked in a mirror, would you ever know what you look like?
Well, I guess there's other ways. Looking at reflection in water or something.
Well, I mean, if you didn't
but you can see all the other people. You could feel your face, and you know that you're going to generally look the same. You can see that everyone has subtle differences, or differences to a greater or lesser extent. But you're going to feel that you've got a nose, a mouth, a chin, ears, and so on.
Don't you have to first assume that you're in a galaxy to say that you look like the other galaxies?
I guess so. Why would you? Why? I mean,
I'm not.
No. I mean, it's just a nice chat. No, you're not having a go. That's fine. But to assume otherwise would be to assume that we're different than all the other solar systems, that we're special in some way.
Okay. I just wanted to get your viewpoint on it.
Hey, Mr. Sensible, do you think that we have to imply, or implore, I should say, leaps of logic when we think about the Earth being a globe?
Do we have to? Do we have to take leaps of logic? Did you say?
Yes, to implore that the Earth is a globe.
No, I don't think so. When we look at the other planets in the solar system, we can see that they're all spheres. I can understand if you were sort of created. This is day one. You walk out. A good starting place would be it's a flat surface. That would be a reasonable first assumption until you investigate further.
I wonder if CB, if you have that clip of Michio Kaku, just for Mr. Sensible's sake. I don't know if
In
he's heard
science,
this or
we
not.
always say that you make observations, you have a theory, you go make more observations, and it's a very, very tedious process. Wrong. Nobody that I know of in my field uses the so-called scientific method. In our field, it's by the seat of your pants. It's leaps of logic. It's guesswork.
Sorry, what field is this?
Oh, Michio Kaku. You don't know who he is? Is he something?
Is that him you were playing? Sorry, that was it. I thought that was someone else on the in the Discord talking.
No, that's
sorry,
Michio Kaku.
Michio Kaku, yeah.
Talking.
Yeah, he's a cosmologist, isn't he?
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
and astrophysicist.
he's well known. Yeah.
No, I know of him.
But I wouldn't say he's somebody to take lightly in the community of people speaking about what like the cosmos is. So he's not somebody to be discredited, is what I would say. He is somebody well within the realm of a respectable, credited person to say he's a science communicator. Let's say.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that being the case, he's also saying what it is, how they think about the universe and such. So from this coming from just like, hey man, this is what this guy is saying. What do you think about it? Because obviously it sounded like at the beginning when I asked you the question, you said something opposite to what Michio Kaku said, which sounds like you're in disagreement with him. You can't be in agreement with him because you already stated that you're not. So I just want to make sure that the audience that we have understands that the position you have from the position he has, and let's say, I don't know what credentials you have, or if you have any, or if you don't. But the thing is, you're saying one thing, he's saying another. And that's interesting. Right? I mean, not
Sorry.
if you don't think it is.
Well, I mean, if he's talking about cosmology, they can't use the scientific method like you can with, I don't know, chemistry, and you can mix certain chemicals, heat them, do whatever, try it again and again and again, repeat it like that. But they come up with thoughts and then look for evidence to try and support them, but it's not that sort of science. They can't carry out those reproduced experiments.
What sort of science is that, though? I'm trying to figure out what sort of science is where you implore thoughts and in your. It's just like guesswork. It's what he said, right?
But any science starts off with a guess, though, doesn't it? If I add, yeah, go on.
Real science,
right?
Real science first starts off with an observation of physical reality, and where you're observing the effect of something. The guess always comes from what have I observed in order to be able to guess what I can vary in order to prove a cause. That's hard science. So it requires an experimentation.
Yeah, I mean, with cosmology, you're observing something and trying to come up with an explanation.
But that's
with
just
many aspects, it's going to be hard to come up with an independent variable to manipulate. With some, not so. For instance, like distance to the nearest stars, we can use parallax over 6 months, the parallax from the position of the Earth, and see the change in the apparent position of the star against the background star. Background stars to work out a distance. So, with that, there is an experiment you can do. With other things, maybe not so much.
What experiment are you referring to?
Well, I'm saying with some of the nearest stars, to work out the distance to them, if you take an image of those star, let's say in January, and you can see it against the background and surrounding stars, you look at the same star 6 months later, it will have apparently moved against that background of stars. You formed a triangle with the baseline being the orbit of the Earth.
So what you're saying is the stars move.
Stars do move.
Yeah. Wait. Baseline with how the Earth moves? Is that what you said? Because
yes.
At the end of that, you said the baseline is that the Earth moves. Is that correct? Like I'm just
we've moved 6 months around our orbit, so from one side of the sun through to the other side of the sun. So that's half the orbit around. So if you drew a line between the two positions through the sun, That's the base of your triangle. Looking at the star is the peak of the triangle, but looking along those two viewpoints, you can see its apparent position has shifted against the background stars.
All right,
Just like holding your finger in front of your face and closing one eye and then the other eye. Yeah, parallax.
Parallax. We are fully aware of parallax. But for those who don't know what parallax is, maybe you just want to go into that a little bit before I even, I don't want to address it yet because maybe parallax is alien to people at the moment. But if you want to tell them what parallax is and why you're using it in this context, that would be great.
Well, take an example. If you stood looking at a tree with a range of mountains off in the distance, you can see that tree, let's say, is dead in line with the peak of one of those mountains. You move a distance to the left or the right, look at that tree again, it will no longer be lined up with the peak of that mountain. That is parallax. Simple as that.
Pretty easy to grasp onto if you guys don't know what parallax is, but just for your sake, I wanted him to just kind of explain why he thinks parallax is relevant to this specific topic. And also to get into
in my example, the star that we're looking at is that tree. Our baseline, our two positions are the position of the Earth in January, position of the Earth in June, and that star is no longer lined up with the same background stars it was, just like the tree is no longer lined up with the peak of that mountain.
It's like
so simple trigonometry, then you can calculate the distance.
Right. So simple trigonometry. But before we get into because I do want to talk about that a little bit. Andy, hold my beer is here. He was listening to a debate that you had with Whitsitt, and he was on edge as to how come, somebody was so blatantly ignorant to the fact that the Earth isn't what they're saying it is, right? Being that it's a globe that it shouldn't be, right? So he's taken a very staunch position. And you just made him more dug into the fact that he now is solidified as someone who's going to now bring forth the case for flat Earth. But my thing is this, right? Because I know that, and I'm just saying that because I'm saying hello to Andy, who came in here pretty fired up because of the fact that he was listening to you and was it Conspiracy Cats? I would say
it was myself and Conspiracy Cats. But what is it that's got Andy? What's it that's got Andy fired up then?
I'll let Andy speak. Andy, before we get into Mr. Sensible's kind of discussion of the cosmos, I wanted you to just kind of, if you had a little piece here to say about why you felt that conversation went in a bad way while you're listening to it. Can kind of give him a little bit of what we hear on the critiquing side of what you thought was going on with that. I'm putting Andy on the spot here, guys. You don't have to chime in if you don't want, though, but it's up to you.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I just woke up though, guys. So, give me a sec. I need at least 10 cups of tea. I watched that debate and I just got annoyed because it seemed like one side were lying quite a lot, and especially this Katz character. I don't know. I just didn't like the debate tactics as well. And what the hell was he doing with this statement? This is what he's going to do, and he's going to make this, sound fancy and say these fancy words. And what was he doing? Why the tactics? It just really got to me.
Are you talking about his thing about predicting the future? Or he was a time traveler?
Yeah.
Well, I think it was fun. It was pointing out.
Fun?
Yeah. He was pointing out that it was absolutely known what would happen. That Whitsitt would not produce actual evidence. But I mean, you'd have to take that up with Katz if you wanted to take it up. I can only really speak for myself. And by the way, I didn't say hello, guys.
It just sounded like the usual stuff for you guys. Just ad homs before everything was said.
But I didn't ad hom. I showed. I'm going to struggle to remember what evidences I showed. I showed the thing about neutron detectors detecting the sun from around a mile underground, and they do most of their detection during the night when the sun's on the other side of the Earth, and you can see the direction the neutrons are coming from, which would be impossible on a flat Earth. The next evidence I gave were the tow tanks that they use for modelling ship hulls and so on. I used the Southampton, I think it's called Bouldra Wood tow tank, about 138 metres long, and it's got rails for the gantry to roll along. And they have to be I'll just finish off. They have to be perfectly level, and that is a curve, and it took 2 weeks for it to be adjusted. There's a hump, if you like, of 0.6 millimeters over the length of the 138 meters. And I can't remember what my third the third one was wasn't it my Mage balloon? Can't remember.
Well, where's that hump at the Suez Canal?
Yeah, I think Mimas wanted to jump in here real quick, and I still haven't addressed Mr. Sensible. Go ahead,
I mean, I don't think metal warping on a poorly built ship is proof of something.
No, that's not what it is. They got a tank of water, 138 meters long, and they tow a model along it to see how it reacts, because it's got a wave maker in it as well, to see how the ship's body would react in the water. Now that tank has to hold the model ship without pushing it down, without pulling it out of the water. So it has to be freely moving. So it has to remain the same distance above the surface of the water. The gantry runs on rails, which must maintain the same distance above the water level along the entire length. And once those rails are adjusted for that, there's a 0.6 millimeter hump, if you like, along the entire length, because
so in
the water. 138 meters.
And 0.6 millimeters?
Yes.
0.6 millimeters. Okay.
Yes.
That's
not much.
That's within the margin of error for anything, though, isn't it?
They use a microscope and a pin breaking the surface of the water, or just not breaking the surface of the water. And I think there's about 400, like on a railway where you get the metal clamps that hold the rail to the sleeper. Yeah. There are about 400 equivalent clamps like that had to be adjusted to make sure the rail didn't lift or sink down towards the surface of the water, to maintain a perfect level distance above the surface of the water.
Okay, so I do have a question then. So there was a hump of this metal. Was there a hump in the water?
Yes.
Do you have paperwork for the hump in the water? Or
sorry, do I have what?
Do you have the documentation for the hump in the water or the hump in the rail?
I can post a link to that if you wish.
Sure.
You have to give me a minute. So carry on. I'll.
Yeah, we're gonna put a pin on a specific discussion that we had about the cosmos in order for you to address this specific one. But we'll get back to that other one. I think it's important. Once you finish up with this one and we tidy up a bit on this, and then we'll move forward to that one.
I don't know where you want me to post this. It's just in the lobby.
No. Okay, so you're new to this forum, correct?
Yeah.
What you have to do is go to the live stream voice text, which is above the
got it. Yes,
the one here. So
okay,
you should have perms. Yeah, you have perms.
Yeah.
Does he have perms too, or is it just links?
Do I have what?
Let's see. Can you post an image?
I think he can't. He need image embed role.
Let me give him that.
Right. Well, that's the link to the website. I'm just trying to find the actual.
No, you have to be able to post images as well, so that everybody can see anything that you want to present. 1 second. And by the way, I'm gonna preface this sensible, because things in here. This is like a very much intellectual forum, so you're not gonna get what you get from other places. This is gonna be really. I think it's really hard for globe earthers to be in here that take a staunch position. So, I would say fasten your seatbelt, because Kansas is going bye-bye in a moment. So I just want you to be fully aware of where you're at. This isn't like a debate. This isn't a debate forum like you're used to, I would say. This is way, way, way different. And I just say, just be in here. Don't get scared. Don't, if you have somebody else you want to bring in that's a friend of yours or whatever, that's great. If you want to have a buddy, because this isn't like for flat earthers, this is not even a great place to be if you're speculative. I would say flat earth or globe earth, it doesn't matter. Like, this is an intellectual forum, so you will be called out on a lot of stuff if you don't have any evidence. So we're going to get down to the nuts and bolts of why you think what you think, the psychology behind it, and all the things that are good for us to know when we investigate. So that's one of the, I just want to preface it with that. So that's what this forum is, just to be fully aware. And we're going to address each point, make sure each point is thorough. We're not going to go skip off and scattergun you with a bunch of questions. We'll let every person that comes in finish their point, and we'll move off to the next person. We're not going to have a dog pile. It's not how this works. So if you're in this forum, you've been in here with me, you know that's the way I run things. Don't dog pile Mr. Sensible. Let the person who's speaking finish their point, and then allow the other person to come in with another point. If you do start to dog pile, I will mute you. So don't do that.
Hey, Mickey, I'm gonna have to run for a little bit, but it's in your hands.
I got you, bro.
Well, I just posted a couple of images of the ones of the tank, and the second one is more details of the rails with those adjustable clamps on. I can't find the direct link to the document so I'm still looking for that.
No worries. Whenever you get them.
Yep.
I have a quick crack at this math here. 138 meters, 414 feet, approximately a 13th of a mile. Looking for around 0.61 inches bend. And you're talking about a half of a business card. You're very polite, by the way. I must compliment you, sir.
Well, thank you. I don't have a problem with chatting to anyone. There's no point in just slagging people off, is there?
Well, it's the nature of the beast, Mr. Sensible. And as you can see, both positions are pretty upset about each other. So it comes with the territory. So the thing is, it should be expected on either side. And with that, with this forum, however, I run a tight ship. So I don't allow just the dog pile. Everything has to happen in an organized fashion. And people coming through are going to address you one at a time, and they're going to fully go through whatever they want. And we can have people that support what they're saying. They can pop in there and support what they're saying. There's nothing wrong with that. You can have somebody on your side come in there, pop in and support your side. That's how this works. But we will get through every topic thoroughly. There isn't anything we're going to leave up for questions. There isn't. We go through everything as much as we can thoroughly with everyone. So we want to allow the person who's speaking with you go ahead and finish what they're saying. And guys, remember, if you're done, just say, I'm done. Anybody else can chime in. So we won't know that you have another point coming up. Please allow
I'm good. You can go on. I just wanted to establish that math for a moment. Thank you.
Thanks. Anybody else want to jump in and have a conversation with Mr. Sensible? Other than, if nobody does, then I have a point to bring about the cosmos. So I'll wait, you guys, if you want to speak with him. He's the guy, if you guys may or may not know, had a debate with Witsit. Him and Conspiracy Cats went a 2-on-1, I think, or 2-on-2. I don't know who else.
Well, yeah, it was supposed to be 2-on-2, but the other one was Brian Leakey. So.
Oh, that's right. He didn't really like that. Anyway, but that's neither here nor there. We want to know if you have any questions about what Mr. Sensible is thinking about. He's very much in the position that the Earth is a globe. The evidence speaks for itself, according to him. So this is your time, guys. If you wanted to speak to somebody who's in a position that thinks the Earth is a globe.
Really, I have a really quick question, Miggy. Real quick question. After getting smoked in a debate, how are you still a globe earther?
Smoked in the debate? Which debate was that?
Any debate with Witsit in it?
No. Witsit is rather famous for his word salad. He spouts lots of stuff. He did not address the toe tank. He did not address the neutrino detector. And I have posted those couple of images. I posted the link, and I'm just about to post a screen capture of the relevant part of that document. Here we go. This is the bit that says about the hump, if you like. I don't know. Is that come through okay? Can you all see that? Oh. Yeah, there we go. The rails must be aligned vertically to follow the curvature of the Earth horizontally and in roll. In Southampton, the Sagittar for an east-west oriented tank of 138 metres is about 0.6 millimetre. And the top faces of the rails must be level, that's to the surface of the water, within 0.1 millimetre over their length. So that's where I got the figures from Southampton University, okay?
Do you have any idea of... So you're saying this university says that the water is bending?
Yes, they got the rails. The rails could be adjusted slightly up, slightly down, based on those red sole plates that are in the images that I posted above, and to maintain a perfect height above the surface of the water. Once you have that, so they're all at the top of the rail along its entire length is exactly to within 0.1 millimetre, the same height above the surface of the water, then that rail has a curve of about 0.6 millimetres over its entire length.
So we really can't use the rail. What are the rails used for?
That kind of proves that the water is flat, though.
The rails are used for that gantry. Can you not see the gantry?
I know, but the rails are kind of irrelevant because they're built, right? They're not what's level.
Yes,
they are. That's an instrumental error. That's user error.
They build the concrete walls of the tank, obviously as level as they can. They actually let it settle, I think, for a number of months, and then with all those red sole plates, the rails are mounted. Now, of course, just mounting them is not going to be that accurate. They are then adjusted to make sure they maintain the same level above the surface of the water.
Right.
So they follow the surface of the water. So if the water was absolutely flat, then the rail would be absolutely flat.
So they measured up from the surface. They measured up from the surface of the water, and you're talking about a 0.6 of a millimeter variance.
Yes.
Okay.
They used a microscope. They used a microscope showing a needle pressing against the surface tension of the water.
Right. So when I go to a machine shop and have them bore out a motor and they have an error, that never happens?
Thank you. I'm a machinist.
How have you? How have you taken into the mechanical variables? How have you excluded them? How have you accounted for them?
How do you exclude metal expanding and contracting under stress and heat?
When they did that, they could not, and in fact, it says in this document that I linked to, they couldn't even use a laser because of refraction. That's how accurate they had to be. So they're going to use accurate instrumentation. It was had to be the same person had to make the adjustments along the entire length, so that he would be making exactly the same adjustment. Because if they change to someone else, they'll see it slightly differently.
So how would you account for his error then?
Well, you can read the document. That's the information I have. They used a microscope and a needle against the surface of the water
I know that,
and adjusted it so it's the same at every sole plate.
I've done the geodetic robotic systems because I do surveying and stuff. This is not perfect equipment.
Oh no, and it even says they're allowing for an error of 0.1 millimeters. Remember, they're looking through a microscope when they do it, but 0.1 millimeters. They can't get more accurate than that.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they're nailing it.
Well, they're within 0.1, and that ends up giving you a curve of 0.6 over the 138 meters.
0.6 sounds like they're off somewhere.
Yeah, it sounds like they were off. That sounds like user error to me.
Well, you'll have to take that up with the university. This isn't me making a claim. This is a university.
But isn't there a better claim, like you have a natural body of water that you can look over and shouldn't see buildings on the other side or something? Something a little more than this very small margin of error.
Right. Well, we always hear about the whole thing about ships disappearing or wind turbines getting sort of chopped off, or Chicago skyline and things like that. Which is all out in the natural environment. You've got temperature variations, you've got air density variations and so on. Here is another example to illustrate the same thing. The tanks are actually built and have to allow for the curvature of the Earth.
Well, they
thus
don't.
demonstrating that
They don't have to allow for the curvature of the Earth at all.
well, they're allowing for the curvature of the water caused by because the surface of the water is following the gravitational equipotential, i.e. maintaining the same distance from the centre of the Earth.
Here, let's look at this document.
Yeah, please do. Yeah. I've got it in front of me as well.
Can you?
It's not very long, by the way.
Can you find the part where they accounted for the gravitational pull?
Well, that screen capture I gave is on page 3 of the document.
You just post the whole document, just a link to it. That'd be fine.
I did, didn't I? Let me try it again.
No, you posted a link to the website.
Oh, there's the document. And this will be the same with all tow tanks. It's just the one that I used in a couple of debates. And as I said, it's on page 3, and it's the bottom left couple of paragraphs. Sorry, page 2. Beg your pardon, page 2.
Okay, that's page 2.
And Dave Hinkle, I didn't say tow tags. I said tow tanks. TANKS.
The Australian Maritime College tank staff measured deflections of up to 1.2 millimeters in the rail alignment within 12 months of filling the tank.
Sounds like the concrete expanded.
Yeah. Because, you know, I
this is indoors. I mean, it's not going to be massive, massive variations in temperature.
Indoors.
Sorry, concrete.
I've done infrastructure concrete for many years for cities and the military. I've done military projects and infrastructure projects, and I've done surveying for them. I know what I'm talking about here. Concrete expands and contracts. It doesn't matter.
Of course it does. Of course it does. That's why you have expansion joints in long runs of concrete.
Exactly.
Of course.
You just said it. Expansion joints.
Yeah, expansion joint, and they're there because it flexes and expands and contracts. Even 5 years after you build a building, it can change. Now, it's a microscopic change almost. You wouldn't be able to see it with your eye, but it says right here that one of the tanks they filled had a 1.2 millimeter variance, which is over double.
Hold on. What are you looking at?
I'm looking at page 2 where it says the staff measured deflections of up to 1.2 millimeters in the rail alignment within 12 months of filling the tank.
Concrete. Is that the concrete should be allowed to settle? Yes.
Got two things involved: the mounting and the concrete and the metal. So there's a couple factors.
So yeah, they got deflections within 12 months, didn't they? And then looking down, so the tank was filled in June 2015. Alignment started in January 2016 to allow time for the concrete to settle.
Yeah.
Okay, may I? I mean, a half inch or something, you'd start to concern me, and I would be looking into this. Other than that, I have to question also this test that they're doing with model boats on this little canal, if you will. What's with the high precision rate here for something that's going to be buoyant, if you will?
Because the model of the ship, let me see if there, I think there's, is there any images there of it? I don't, well, at the bottom you can see a model of a ship. It's actually suspended below a gantry which runs along those rails, so it's got all the monitoring equipment on it, and I think it goes up to 10 meters per second. It goes quite quickly anyway, but you don't want it pushing that model down into the water or pulling it out of the water, because that will affect the readings.
I'm sorry? I can understand a quarter inch or more. I can understand that would be a variable. But honestly, we're talking about a test here. This isn't like absolute precision machinery. There's a lot more things in this world that are machined with higher precision. So to me, that test, that's as accurate as you're ever going to get, even if you did have up to a millimeter or more variance. That's dead level as far as I'm concerned.
Sorry. I've just also seen on that page that we're looking at, page 2, on the right-hand side, just above the photograph, it says the vertical alignment of the South Rail was checked in 20 spots in June 2016. So that was 6 months later, and it showed that the concrete had not moved during that period. So, I mean, they allowed for any settling and whatever before they adjusted the rail, and checked it 6 months later, and it hadn't moved.
Sorry, guys, I'm speechless. Go ahead. I mean, to me, that's level, dude.
Yes, it is level. It is level, and level is a curve. Absolutely.
Wow. At least we got you saying that on boys.
You say it with such gusto.
Again, I'm gonna have to go find this fellow I used to know that was into the construction equipment and
Level-
was a high-end guy.
Level as defined by academics is not real level, because those of us who build things know what level actually is.
What size things do you build? What size things do you build?
I did a 1.5 million square foot warehouse for the military. They never accounted for anything.
Well,
They never account for anything. Linear lines every direction.
Hilti makes a laser level 75,000 feet. So,
and you can go to the tool shop, buy a tool called a level that comes in all different lengths, and it has 2 mediums in it. It has a gas medium, and it has a fluid medium inside of the canister, and it shows you what level it is. So I'm trying to figure out how you build words into a definition that actually try to find the base of a tool.
Because in recent history, they've tried to change the definition of level because of this argument. That's not an excuse for the fact that level has always meant
right.
level.
And my point is, no matter how many words and word salad you can throw at me trying to tell me that curve is built into the definition of level, I'm going to tell you I'm going to go buy a tool called a level with a capital L, and I'll smack you over the head with it, because there's no amount of words that you can do to cover up the observation of a level with a tool called a level. Like, that's a bullshit.
Right. If you're talking about talking about a spirit level or a laser level,
No, I'm talking about a level. Capital Level. If I'm going to build a deck, if I'm going to hang a TV, if I'm going to interact with the surface to ascertain whether or not it's level and make sure that the stuff I'm building is level, I'm going to use a level. Right?
Yeah, but
now, you're not going to appeal to the definition that they've revised recently to tell me that there's curve built into your idea of level. That's bullshit and a fallacy on its face.
No.
Yes,
level
it
is the same distance above. So if the surface is curving, if you took
Hold on. Do you have validation? Do you have validation of a curving surface, though? Do you have validation?
No,
of a curving surface?
I'm giving an explanation of what I mean by level. If let's say you had a very large sphere.
Hold on, I'm stopping you because we already know that definition because we hear it all the time. No, that is not.
Yeah,
what
but it's not.
About. We are diametrically opposed to that interpretation of what level is. That's not level.
If you're just talking,
the point with, hold on a second here. The point with everything that's being
unfalsifiable. If you hold on now. If you claim that level and curved are the same thing, and you're just measuring up from 2 spots, so level will always look curved, that's unfalsifiable. That is literally unfalsifiable. We can
actually no, it isn't. No,
it is unfalsifiable.
What you're talking about is horizontal. What you're talking about is horizontal, as in 90 degrees from plumb.
90 degrees perpendicular to plumb.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if I dropped a plumb line, 90 degrees from that is horizontal. If I was hanging a TV or something that you suggested a little while ago, then yeah, you'd use a spirit level or whatever, because you don't have to take curve into account over that short distance.
Yeah, and over
a distance away, a long distance away, you take another plumb that will not be parallel to the first plumb.
So you think if you go to a still lake and you put your theodolite up and you're measuring 500 foot across it and you have identical measurements, there's no curvature? Or is the level of that plumb perpendicular straight line that you're running parallel over the lake, is that curving around the lake too?
It's the perpendicular to plumb is in effect a tangent, isn't it? So
It's
if you're
parallel.
on two sides, if you're on two sides of a lake, I think you said 500 meters across, drop two plums, and at each one you had a 90-degree horizontal to those two plums, then they wouldn't be parallel to each other.
They would be.
No, but no, they
And
wouldn't.
they will be.
And that's
And
why.
they will be, and
I
they
forget the
will be.
exact
Talking
term,
about
but
reality,
It's not.
not in the drawing in your head.
no,
reality.
I am talking about reality. Have you ever seen The Main Surveyor? I forget the
No,
term.
I've been on a lake. I'm not delusional enough to think that the water's curving all around me. Have you ever been out on a lake?
Well, that tow tank that I just showed was 138
Okay,
meters.
no.
No, let me finish. I'm responding to your point. That tow tank was 138 meters, and it had a 0.6 millimeter.
Okay, so
height,
what's
if you
going on
like. So over
with
500 meters, you're only going to have a couple of millimeters. So no, you're not going to see it with the naked eye.
How much? Hold on. How much is not 0.6 millimeter? How much is
just over half a millimeter?
half a millimeter?
Yes.
Half a millimeter.
Yes.
Do you have any idea how small that is?
Yeah. You get two of them in a millimeter.
Okay.
Now, if you're talking about a 500-meter lake, you can imagine that it's going to be, about 4 times that. So about a couple mil.
Hold on.
Well,
How many millimeters? How many millimeters are in an inch? Because we should have 2 inches of curve on that. How many millimeters are in an inch?
It's 2.4. Yes.
So you're off by 25 times. So there's no curve.
I don't really quite follow what you're saying.
Because at 138 meters, you would have about 2 inches of curved earth. You would not have.
Wouldn't?
Yes, you would.
2 inches at 138 meters.
I'll stop you there. It's 0.615, and if you want to go with your Sagitta, you can half that if you like. But either way, it's either 5/8 of an inch or half of that.
5/8 of an inch. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's still way more than a millimeter, isn't it?
Well, over 138 meters, you're saying that the globe theory, if you like, would predict over half an inch of curve.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
wrong.
the exact calculation.
that's not
pretty
wrong.
much.
I'm sure that's wrong.
Give him half for a Sagitta. It's still half of 5/8. Go ahead.
Sorry, who go ahead?
No, if let me ask you real quick. If level is curved, is globe flat?
Yeah, we're not gonna skip off. We're gonna stay on this one at the moment. Chad, if you're here, Chad has had studies with mathematics, so he would be the one to actually point it out to you, Mr. Sensible, if you're wrong. And I would say
I'd like
that
to
he has
label
been doing-
your level, our level.
He's been
Your
doing
level's
it for a while.
your level's
Guys-
called radio
Guys,
level.
can you hear me? When I'm
ahead.
talking right now, yeah, just allow me to finish because I'm addressing what Mr. Sensible is bringing up here in this forum. So, Chad, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, Mr. Sensible, if you may or may not know, he's a person who does debates with Flat Earth. So he's done one with Witsit. So not known or known, but
I just put 100. Sorry.
I'm gonna go and let you present the mathematics for that, but we're just gonna go right now based on the mathematics. And there's been a gentleman who chimed in here who was correcting you. You said that's not right. Can you please, guys, go over the math one more time so that way Chad can hear, and at least maybe Chad, if you want to test this and see if it's not what they're saying.
Well, if it's 160 meters, that's a tenth of a mile, isn't it?
138. I mean, let's call it 150. 150, just to make it.
160 is a good number because it's a tenth of a mile, isn't it?
Okay, but you're going to be mixing up imperial and metric.
If you're going to haggle over that, I'm not going to bother.
Well, no, there's a big difference between imperial and metric. I just whacked a target distance of 0.138 kilometers, so that's 138 meters, with an eye height of 0 meters into the Earth curve calculator, and it says the target hidden height would be 0.0015 meters. That's using the Earth curve calculator at GitHub.
I don't know if there was going to be a response to that, or if you guys are doing something with what he's saying. If you
No,
guys
I just said if he's going to haggle over silly numbers, I'm not even going to bother. So,
What am I haggling over? Go on, say it again.
I think Mickey was just trying to give him the floor to speak.
Yeah, I was just giving him the floor, actually. But it seems like we are, I guess, at the end of that point. You guys already said that there's a bit of haggling over the numbers because it seems like there is curvature with the way you're presenting it, or should be anyway, and there isn't, according to Mr. Sensible, or at least not enough to be detected. Is that correct? Am I getting what you're saying, Sensible? There's too minuscule.
I'm saying if you were looking over a lake 500 meters wide, the amount of curvature is not going to be apparent to your naked eye.
So, well, that's interesting because we got a contradiction here that I'm going to have to point out. But it's too interesting to point that out at the moment. I do want to get back to the cosmology point that we were on. Maybe if everybody's good with this point, if you have anything else to add before I move on. Anyone? We're all good? All right. So going back to the cosmology point you brought up, I told you that it takes leaps of logic according to some astrophysicists, including Michio Kaku, and there was a sound clip of actually him saying so. So it wasn't just me telling you that that's what he said. He actually said that, and I'm pointing it out, which is important, right? Because there's a lot of people that actually look up to science communicators such as him. Therefore, I said, he said leaps of logic, and that's a way that it works for him. You disagreed, however. You said it was actual, we can know things, and he didn't say that. So
we can know some things, other things we can't know for sure.
Okay, I'm going to take us out of the realm of vagueness, which is kind of like what your rebuttal was at. So know some things and not know some things. Okay, so let's put things into the realm of what we know, and I'm going to go ahead and allow you to tell us give us a few examples, if not one, of what we can know from the cosmology side of things. Go ahead.
Well, this is not any field I'm a specialist in, but we know certain things, like we know the constituent elements of stars using spectroscopy. Sorry, I struggle saying the word spectroscopy.
No, go ahead. Spectroscopy, for sure. Okay, and you say that the way we know those elements is how? Spectroscopy works in a way that, how does it work? First of all, I think using words like these, they're fancy. Some of them are packaged in a way that some other people don't know. The audience sometimes, they might be globe Earth proponents and they don't even know what spectroscopy is.
Right. Yeah.
If they're not in this discussion, they won't know. So enlighten people.
Could I just chip in on this one, Miggy? I've got a bit of information on this one.
Absolutely. I just wanted either you or you tell us what spectroscopy is, and it doesn't matter who it comes from. Just a quick
question, Mr. Sensible. When you're looking at spectroscopy of a star, are you seeing what the actual star is made of, or what its atmosphere is made of?
It's light shining through the atmosphere. It's light shining through the atmosphere of the star.
So it's the atmosphere of the star. You're seeing what the constituent.
Yeah, but
not the actual star itself.
Well, the star is a ball of plasma, isn't it, and gas, whatnot, and shining, taking spectrograms of different stars give you different results. But we haven't just to confirm what spectroscopy is. When you take light, you break it up into a rainbow. If that light is shining through a gas, you get what's called Fraunhofer lines, absorption lines, like a barcode, and each element always has the same pattern. So therefore, if you're looking at the light coming from a star, you examine the pattern, the barcodes, if you like, and therefore you can determine what the constituent elements are.
And this is what you said we know, right? We can know something, like we can know this.
Yes, because that's measurable. And if different people took readings of the same star at different times from different locations, they'll get the same Fraunhofer lines, the same patterns.
I think the audience might be a bit confused when it comes to things we know, because in this forum, we like to stand on certainty. And I'm going to sound a bit redundant, but 100% certain, right? So now I'm going to turn it around and ask you, are you 100% certain when you say that the star that you are looking at is made up of the specific element that you say that it is made up of? Go ahead. 100% certain. I'm not saying, now I'm going to phrase it this way, again, redundant. 99.99999999999% sure. That's not what I'm talking about.
That would be more accurate, wouldn't it?
Well, no. I'm saying what's accurate is what you are saying, not what we think you're saying. So what are you saying? Tell us directly.
What I'm saying is, if they take a spectrogram of the sun, they can determine the elements that the sun is made of. You take a spectrogram of different stars or galaxies, you can tell the same. You can get the same patterns due to the various elements, so you know the elements.
Hang on, guys. I want to make very clear this before you guys chime in. I want to make this very clear before you chime in, because we get this a lot. So in this forum, you're going to have to tell us, and it sounds redundant, but you have to tell us what percentage that you know that you're certain that that element is what you're claiming it is. Now, is it, I'm going to give you two options because it sounds like you agreed with it, 99.99999999999%, or is it 100% sure? Which is, without a shadow of a doubt, all certainty, for sure, it is the element that you're saying. Which one of those two is it?
You'd have to go for the 99.99999 to be honest, because there could always in science, there's a possibility of something else that you're unaware of.
All right.
That is science, isn't it? Which is why the strongest thing is a theory. So because it could always be overturned. However,
this isn't, it has nothing to do with you, Mr. Sensible, but everybody in here who comes in and says that, I would say they are not certain and they do not know, because it could be, right? What we're doing here is we're analyzing the fact that the people that are saying these things are not sure. So, and you saying that that's the way science works solidifies the understanding that you don't know, because it could be, right, something else, subjective. It could be.
That's true. That is true across all of science. That's true across all of science. If I take a hammer, I hold it in front of me and drop it or let go of it, it falls to the ground. I have never seen a hammer not fall to the ground, but there is always the possibility of some effect or whatever causing that hammer to not fall directly to the ground. Science, the strongest, as I said, the strongest position you can have is to have a theory made up of facts, but it's always a theory because it could be overturned. We've had theories that have been overturned.
Subjective. So what we understand now from your perspective of what science is basically not knowing things and just guessing. It's guesswork.
It's not guesswork.
Oh, it's guesswork, 100%, Mr. Sensible. And so what I'm pointing out here is the fact that you are giving us guesswork and telling us that it's science. And I totally reject that, because I don't think that people put their... Listen, you might be standing behind this, and what I'm pointing out to you is that the idea that you are actually an advocate for this position, other people who listen are listening as you're making these statements as a matter of fact. Spectroscopy works this way. We look at the stars, therefore it is what we're saying it is. So they are not listening to you as in it's not 99.9999%. There's a sliver of doubt. It could be something else. They're actually looking at it from your standpoint and the way you're saying it as a matter of fact. So they don't understand that. So the confusion happens that person will come in here and tell us things as that is they're 100% sure, and you don't know that because what you're thinking is not being conveyed over to them in the way that I'm telling you now. So now I'm exposing the fact that you are using guesswork, as in what you think the stars are, using spectroscopy, because you admittedly said 99.99% is the most I guess you can say the trusted way that you guys work, and you guys, and I would say anybody who uses this, right? So now I'm getting to the bit where we're actually exposing the fact that no one knows what they're telling us, because it could be something else, subjective. And that is why everybody who says these things doesn't know what they're saying, and we point it out to them. That's why it's important for you to understand that. There is no debate when it comes to flat earth and globe earth. Why? Because we see the same earth that you do. So the thing that you're seeing, however, is a perspective outside of the one that you're already seeing. So they're telling you a story about what's happening outside of what you already know to be happening. You see the stars, we see the stars. You see the flat level horizon, we see a flat level horizon. There isn't another earth we're speaking of when we talk about flat earth. It is the obvious and self-evident reality in which we all exist in. And this has been the issue with the flat earth globe earth debate. It seems like we're speaking of two different concepts and everybody's coming at different points, and that is not the case. The case we're trying to point out is the confusion that is happening with the globe earth, that you guys have been believing the guesswork, the 99.9% where there's a little sliver of doubt. That's what you guys believing is true. We don't have a position.
If I said to you, I've got a lottery ticket here, right? I'll let you have it for $1, and it's a 99.99999% chance you'll win. You would buy that lottery ticket off me. It's not 100% guaranteed, but it's 99.99999.
Are we talking about things we don't know once again? Because we don't know, right?
The point
You're pointing out to me we don't know. You're pointing out to me the same thing that I'm saying to you. So basically, you're arguing my point, which is what I'm telling you. We don't know. So you're telling me we don't know, but this is our best guess, and you're like, "Oh, it's not our guess."
We're not talking about a guess. What we're talking about. Right. We've got an idea. We've made an observation. We got an idea about what that observation might be showing. So we look for the evidence to support it. Now, if the first person, so we take, I don't know, whatever the reading is, a temperature reading. Oh dear, that doesn't support our idea. So we'll have to throw it out and think of another idea. And we come up with the temperature reading you take, for instance, supports that idea. It's consistent with that idea. So you look for more evidence.
Why are we eliminating things, though? Why don't we just outright know what it is? Why do we have to eliminate what it's not? I don't think that's a great way for us to get it to a conclusion. Sir, that is assumptions. Do you know that you're living in a worldview filled with assumptions and you're okay with it? And this is what we're trying to point out. So it's not just... Well, listen, we point this out to everybody. It doesn't matter what topic you bring up in this forum. We're going to point it out to you that you, sir, believe that the assumptions that you've just made are actually reality. And we're telling you it is not, because you don't know.
We've got evidence. What you do is you've got your observation.
Mr. Sensible, you have guesswork.
Are you going to let me speak?
You have to admittedly say that's guesswork, sir. It is guesswork.
It's not a guess.
That's like Michio Kaku said. Here's where you're going off the rails and thinking that you know what you're saying when you don't, sir.
Right. I said to you, Michio Kaku, he's a theoretical physicist. Physicist. Now, when you come up with an explanation for something, or a possible explanation, you look for evidence to try and disprove that. That's how science works. And if your evidence, you take measurements, you take various readings, whatever sort of readings they are, depending on what it is, if they don't rule it out, then so far that explanation could still be true. The more evidence you've got, the stronger that is, until you reach a point where you've got a theory which is virtually.
It is your best assumption.
Yes, supported by all the evidence. If you find,
see, for the record, Mr. Sensible, you think that assumptions. I'll put it this way. Let's dress it up. Let's put lipstick on the pig, shall we? Let's say the best assumption that you have, that is what you're going to run with. Your best assumption, sir. That is what you're telling us.
Are you going to straw man me?
No, sir. That's your position.
Right, don't tell me what my position is. Right. With this observation, whatever it is we've made loads of different readings. All of them support that observation. If you find one reading that rules that out, then you have to throw that idea that you're calling
You're
the subject out.
rationalizing Michio Kaku's admissions. It's seat of the pants. Rationalize it how you need.
Yeah, you're just at this point you're just comforting yourself, which is not anything good for any of the audience. Audience is looking at this like, oh my goodness, the guy is not making any sense, because at one point he said we can look at spectroscopy as a great way to tell us what that is, and now you actually admittedly said we're actually looking at what it's not. What it's not.
No. We know that spectroscopy. We know that spectroscopy works. If you do tests shining light through various gases, you will always get those same patterns per element of Fraunhofer lines.
So let's go back once again.
Therefore, if you apply that same technique to the start and you get the same pattern, your assumption that it's hydrogen, helium, whatever the element is a damn good one to make.
A damn good one isn't knowing for sure, Mr. Sensible. Once again,
no, it's for knowing 99.99999% sure.
Audience, let the audience decide, because right now they're hearing you say that. I didn't say that. So now you're telling them how you don't know, and I'm just exposing the fact that you don't know. And then so in any intellectual discussion, you're coming in half-cocked, half-baked, or whatever it is you want to use the term. You don't know what's going on. I'm pointing that out to the audience. The audience clearly hears that from you now. So, Mr. Sensible, anywhere you go, in any forum you come into, you're going to 99.9999% know of what's going on. And for us, that's not knowing, sir. And so you can say...
Don't know anything, then. Tell me something, anything you know. Anything.
Thank you. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, come on. Tell me something that you absolutely know.
Let's have a little exercise, because I'm going to show you, right? I'm going to actually show you. Are we talking on Discord right now, Mr. Sensible? Yes or no? Yes or no? Are we talking on Discord?
Are we talking? Don't like the music. Are we talking on Discord?
Yes, sir. Are we talking on Discord?
I have an image on my screen that looks like a Discord server.
All right, so we'll just say yes or no. Are we talking on Discord? It's
the best evidence. Okay, the best evidence that I've got right now is that we are talking on Discord server.
Okay, all right, that's great, right? I agree with you that we're getting somewhere, right? All right, so let's go to the second follow-up question, which is only two. There's nothing really big. Are you 100% sure you're talking on Discord? I know that's redundant, but please answer the question.
Am I 100% sure? No.
There you go. Audience, that is it. Mr. Sensible, your goose is cooked. You do not know about reality because you don't know your own reality, sir. I 100% know that you and I are talking on Discord because it is the platform that we are using.
Okay. Here's a counterexample. You go to kindly make a donation to my Patreon. I send you a link, okay, and you send me some money. Are you 100% sure that's going to me? It could be some scam link you've got. It looks like my Patreon or your bank account, but that's how people fall victim to scams because something that looks like something isn't necessarily it.
Mr. Sensible, your Patreon link is actually a scam link, dude. The obvious one. Anyway, but that's beside the point. Listen, this is Discord. We're talking on the platform. You agreed at that much point, but see, the breakdown for you is reality. So for us, if we can't know our own reality, then we're not going to listen to talking heads who are telling us that they think they know what's going on with whatever they're saying with only a 99.99% chance. Because, sir, when it comes down to it, you wouldn't bet your life on that 99.99% at all. So none of the things
absolutely would. Have you ever been in the car?
Ridiculous.
Have you ever been? No. You've been in the car, haven't you? When you drive in your car from A to B, okay, there's an extremely good chance you'll get there safely, but you might not. And if you do have an accident of one sort, there's a good chance with your seatbelts and your what do you call them? Inflatable. I forgot what they call them. The inflatable things that come up. There's extremely good airbags. Yeah. But there is the chance you could die.
Yeah, here's the thing though. You're pointing out things that we may not know or may know, but the thing that I'm pointing out to you is the things that we know. All right, I'll say it. I always get redundant because I hate it when I do. We know what we know. We don't know what we don't know. It's stupid, right? But I have to say it that way. Anyways, we know what we know. We don't know what we don't know. So when you tell us things that you don't know, assuming things and saying it like you know, then it sounds ridiculous to us as an intellectual forum. If you're not able to stand on all 10 toes and declare how you're 100% sure of what you're saying, I'm going to hand wave dismiss it and say you're just full of crap. You're just saying things because it sounds nice, because Joe Blow told you, whoever Joe Blow is. I don't care if he's a professor or the guy down the street. Doesn't matter to me. Whatever you are coming in here telling us in an intellectual forum that you know, and we're going to put it to the test, and you say, well, I'm not really sure. I think it is. It's the best guess, right? Damn good one, as you put it. And then it turns out that you don't know. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sensible hasn't a grip on reality because he's not sure ever. And there it is, sir. That's
science has to be, by definition, science has to be falsifiable. Every single aspect of science has to be falsifiable, which means it could be wrong. Now, that may be a vanishingly small chance,
sir,
but it's
you're
always a
taking it out of the
possibility.
realm of science, sir. You're taking it out of the realm of science. This
That
is not even
is
science we're talking about. No, sir. We're talking about the most obvious, the self-evident things. I could put it to you this way, not even Discord. I don't even have to know this. I want you to prove it to yourself. What are you doing right now? Are you standing up, sitting down, laying down? What are you doing right now? Just tell me what you're doing. That's as simple as that. What are you doing right now? Be honest. Like, I don't have to know. But
I believe I'm sitting down on my chair, and
okay, well,
I'd say that's yeah.
But just, sir, you're not going to tell me, and that's, I believe. Okay.
He just said he believes he's sitting in a chair.
Yeah, you said that. I know. Like, listen, Mr. Sensible, you're sitting down right now. I can tell you without even seeing you. This is how crazy it gets. I can tell you without even seeing you because you said that, and you're sure that hey man, I believe I'm sitting down. I know that you are. I say, like, you can say that with all certainty. You're sitting down. It's okay.
Yes, you could assign a certain level of trust to something like that.
No,
if I said, if hold on, if I said I have a pet cat, you could say, well, I've chatted to the guy. He seems fairly honest. It's quite possible he has a cat. Yeah, I believe him. But if I said I've got 3 Ferraris parked in my garage, you might think, well, it's possible, but it's quite unlikely. Do you know what I mean? You assign levels of trust and acceptance.
No, that's what you do. That's what you do because you've been told to think this way. You're okay. So the confusion happens to people when they're taught, or they're told, I should say, they're told how to think like this. So you were told at an early age that this is a good way to think. Leave yourself open for these things that are self-evident, things that are self-evident, right? I'm not even speaking of the things that you don't know and that you're making these speculations on. What I'm saying are the things that are self-evident, sir. This is outside of the realm of you just being able to be like, hey, let's science this shit. And I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you're saying you're sitting down, standing up, talking on Discord, whatever it is that you're doing, you're not even sure of that. So you're confused. So therefore, I'm going to attribute the word confused to everything you say, because there's nothing you're going to say that's going to be like, oh, wow, that's great. You actually know something, because you don't. So therefore, you don't know anything. And I can say that with all assurance because you've demonstrated that to us here in this chat and anywhere else you go, whatever platform you say, I want to debate flat earthers. It's not going to happen because there is no debate, because you don't know anything. You're in a state of confusion, sir. And until you realize that, you won't come out of it. You're going to keep spinning your wheels and comforting yourself and saying, well, damn, I could be damn well assured that 99.9% is good. It's not going to get there for you. You'll never know. Ever, ever, ever. And that's not how science works. That's how you perceive science to work. And this forum will reject that all the time, because everybody in here will say, I know that I'm sitting down. I'm 100% sure that I'm sitting down right now. What else is it? Like, you can't do that to yourself. You're so unsure about yourself. You're very confused. And I can see why, because you're taught to think this way. You're told, somebody told you somewhere. So there's a lot of confusion with you people who are in a staunch position who think the earth is a globe, because outside of your perception, something's happening and you just can't be sure what it could be. So you have to leave yourself open for doubt. And so that's where that comes in, that argument that you have that you don't know everything. And it's just it's a crooked philosophy, man. You've been sold. You've been
science.
It's not
with science, it has to be falsifiable. If I just said just for the sake of argument, the moon is made from cheese because it looks like it. Well, unless we can take some sort of measurement or test to falsify that's not science. That's just some random claim.
But that's
with
what
science,
you're doing. Mr. Sensible, you just said the star of plasma with spectroscopy, and you know the elements.
Yeah,
and I said,
what I said was
what?
all our available evidence points to that. The available evidence points to the fact that spectroscopy works.
You just finished telling me that you're eliminating things that it's not. That's what you told me. Well, our best. It's a.
But we have taken. Okay, if we take a measurement of the sun using spectroscopy, we get certain patterns of Fraunhofer lines. Those patterns are known to appear if you shine light through, for instance, helium, hydrogen, and so on. Therefore, that would point towards the sun being made of those elements. It's good evidence. It's good evidence for it.
Mr. Sensible, I'm going to point this out to the audience. The lawyer speak that you have to implore here is like off the charts. It points towards, it leans towards, it's damn good. It's not what it is.
Has science, do you think science has ever come up with something that's then turned out to be wrong?
Right now is so warped and askew that it's going basically what mainstream rhetoric is telling. This is how they confuse you, sir. And so therefore you're going to continue to use these tactics because that's all you know. I don't blame you. I blame the system that has brought you to the confusion point in your life where you think that you can't know anything. This is the issue that has been rampant through all your guys' position. Like I would say, anti-flat earthers, the guys who are not just upset the fact that people are saying the earth is not a globe, but the ones who are actually declaring that it must be. With the I call it the lore. Because it's like a fantasy, right? So you're in love with the lore, and this philosophy that you can't know anything has been like a mind virus that has been infecting all of you guys. It has even crossed over into some of the flat earthers. They will even say that. But I'm pointing it out to you because you are using it as a way to tell us what you know. Sir, you are in the wrong 100%. You don't know what's going on. You don't know what the stars are.
Hold on. We know by we don't. We don't even know what I was going to say yet, but we know by experimentation that shining a light through helium produces certain Fraunhofer lines. We also know that measuring the light from the sun or stars can come up with Fraunhofer lines that match. Therefore, it is evidence. It's not proof because science doesn't prove. It is evidence that the sun contains those elements. Simple as that.
Simple as what, sir? You know that 100% sure or no? You don't. Thank you.
No, we know 100%. Hold on. We know 100% that if you shine a light through helium, you get a certain pattern of absorption lines. We know 100% if you take the measurement. No, we have facts.
You just said you can't use 100%. You just told us you can't use it. Now you're using it?
No, hold on. We know. No, you're not letting me finish. You're just going to try and steamroller me or listen to what I said.
I don't know what you're saying.
Yes, I do. Well, let me finish and you might understand what I'm saying. Right. We know that if we shine the light through helium, we get a certain pattern. We know that if we take that measurement of the sun, we can get that same pattern. Okay? Those are both facts. But the theory, if you like, or the explanation, no, that's the wrong word. But because we got that same pattern in both, we can assume. Let me finish. But we can assume that same element is part of the sun. We could be wrong. But we have two facts. We have two facts. One evidence is the other.
I just want to point out that you're wrong. Dun dun dun. Sorry.
Well, tell me something scientific then. Tell me something scientific that we 100% know.
Sir, we could do this all day long. I could tell you of many things that are scientific.
Well, just one thing. Just one thing.
Water boils at sea level at a specific temperature. And there you go.
At sea level? Okay, that's one fact. And we also know...
Well, I just I pointed something out to you. But look, listen.
That is. You know, you have an accurate thermometer. You boil it, the water at sea level, at a pressure of 14.7 psi, and that will occur at 100 degrees. Yes. We also know a separate fact that if you boil it halfway up the mountain with a lower air pressure, it will boil at a higher temperature. Lower temperature.
I know, Mr. Sensible. We've already arrived at what we.
So those are two facts.
I know, but we can arrive.
He said sea level. That's it.
Listen, we can arrive at certain facts because we can achieve the scientific method to do its purpose.
So we've made two observations: one at sea level, one halfway up a mountain. Therefore, we could then come up with an idea. We've got two observations. We could say that the air pressure affects the temperature that water boils at. Then we can make a prediction. Well, if we went up higher, it would boil at a lower temperature still.
My question to you now would be like, what does it? You asked me to provide at least one scientific. Fact. I did that. So anyway, so now on to the next thing, because we've already addressed that you don't know. The audience knows this already. We know that you're coming in here with this confusion state of mind. So
I'm not
for
confused.
us, sir, you're supremely confused, because to us, you're pointing to things and saying that are damn good evidence for. Lawyer speak. There's a lot of this lawyer speak that people don't pick up on because they don't hear you saying that. So what I'm doing is I'm exposing the fact that there is no debate for flat Earth and globe Earth, because there's only one truth. The Earth that's presenting itself to you and me is the same Earth that we're speaking of. There isn't any dichotomy. It's a false dichotomy. It's only the Earth and what you've been taught what to believe that it is. So it's basically a belief system that you were born into. We have
a shed load of independent evidences from Eratosthenes.
Mr. Sensible, didn't we cover that? We just covered that. That you said that it's a damn good guess. It's evidence is just leaning towards Mr. Sensible.
Yeah. Okay. We step out of our house for the first time. You and I. Okay. We both look, and you say, "Oh, I think the Earth is flat," and I say, "Oh, I think the Earth is curved." Then we look for evidence. So the various evidence is like 2 points of stellar rotation, like sunsets, like ships disappearing over the horizon, like sending up a weather balloon and filming the fricking curve of the Earth. All those evidences would be counter to the flat Earth. They're both ideas.
Listen, how certain are you of all those evidences you just brought up? And you're gonna tell me 99.99999% sure. That's what you're gonna tell me, aren't you? Be honest, Mr. Sensible.
Well, we have various facts.
Be honest with the forum, sir. Be honest with the forum.
Well,
just tell me that you
to get a word out. You said be honest, and then you don't let me speak.
You're not answering my question. I want you to be honest with the forum. Let everybody know that everything you just said, you're 99.99999% sure, sir.
But what difference does that make?
It's important. Let everybody know, sir.
I don't understand what difference it makes.
It makes a huge difference to everybody listening, because they're not taking you for a matter of fact. We want to know where you stand with the information, sir. So
it's either you're 100% or you're 0%. You can't be 99% on something.
I want you to say it the way you want. But say it. We're not going to leave this because it's important for you.
It's 100% or 0%.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that makes a credible witness.
That's how shit works.
If you're not 100% sure, then you shouldn't be witnessing on whatever it is you're attempting to witness on. This is the point. You're not a credible witness in what you've presented so far. This is the problem.
Yeah, just tell us what you saw or not what you saw.
Actually, you know this whole.
No, we're not going to.
I am staying on point. We got that black swan picture, with the oil rigs. No, hold on. Two people witness it. Two people witness it. We've seen photographs.
As much as you want.
No, you said 100% or 0%. They both can't be true. So we got two photos of the black swan. One showing the whole rig, one showing half a rig. They're both photographs. Never mind whether you're flat or globe. They are both photographs. They're two different observations with different come up with different results. So if you no, so if you take any one of them. Okay, how can they both be true if it's either 100% or 0?
We're not going there. The audience still hasn't heard Mr.
I'm not
Sensible.
going there because you don't want me to point out the ridiculousness of that position.
Yeah, because you're not, that's not even my argument at the moment. My argument right now is your ignorance. And so I want everybody to know how you don't know. So now we're going to go back to all those evidences you brought up.
No, he just said you're either 100% or 0%. So we got your black swan photo that shows the horizon behind it. Therefore, the horizon can always be seen behind it. Only we got photos when the horizon's in front. So you couldn't have been 100%. There's another explanation. Something else we did take into account.
So you want to bring something up to get it?
Your take.
This is the what you guys like to do. You want us to get our eyes off of you, but we're not.
No. He said you're either 100% or 0. That is a straw man.
No, listen. Is it either an apple or an orange? So is it 100% an apple or 100% an orange?
Either
Which one
or you don't.
Is it or is it 50% an apple? Can we have 50% apple, 50% orange in the same fruit, sir?
That's a bit nonsensical. I'm not trying to be funny.
It's nonsensical because listen. This is what you're doing in here. You're telling us that you're not sure, but this is your best guess, and so everybody's following like, whoa.
No, I'm saying we're 99.9% sure, and none of the evidence contradicts it. Come up with some evidence that contradicts it, then we can rule it out.
The Earth is flat.
What's that supposed to mean?
It contradicts what you think that the Earth is.
No, that's just an assertion. That's not an evidence.
Oh, it's not an assertion. It's self-evident, my man. You and me can go stand at the beach and see a flat level horizon, can we not?
To the naked eye, yes. You take measurements and you can see the curve. Have a look at mctoon.net, a view of the horizon across some straight edges, and you can see that it's curved.
Right.
Again, Mr. Sensible, let's think about this. If you have 8 billion people on this place, and they're all putting their hands up stating they observe a level, that's 8 billion points of evidence that you have to talk down to say you see level because there's a curve. Do you understand that is a complete fallacy?
I understand
you make 8 billion points of people touching the surface saying I see level, and you're going to come along and say, but your curve is actually way deeper than what you're seeing.
The Earth is rather big that you're not going to see the curve naked eye stood on the ground.
Australia observes level. Canada observes level. Japan observes level.
Yes.
Where does your curve show up?
The curve is consistent across the whole distance.
So where can we see it?
Where?
This is not
because if everybody is at the surface putting their hands up saying, I see level, then at what subterranean level does your magic curve show up? Mr. Sensible? No, I'd like him to answer that question.
He's not going
Hold on. I've just dumped into voice text an image. There's curve into voice text. Oh, sorry, have I sent it? 1 sec.
No, you didn't send it in live stream.
Yeah, 1 second. What's happened there?
Maybe you did.
There we go. Yeah, it's just gone in now.
What is that overlay?
What is
on
that?
top of
Because I'm asking.
Let him explain. I think that you can explain what that is, Sensible.
This looks like an atmospheric picture, not the surface.
That's hilarious.
That's a picture from 35 kilometers up from a weather balloon that I sent up. The overlay is the predicted curve.
What lens did you have on that camera?
Kilometers. Sorry, say again.
What lens is on that camera?
A non-distorting lens, a rectilinear lens.
Really? Because it doesn't line up with pretty much every other weather balloon footage we have.
No, because most of them use wide-angle lenses because they want a nice view. That's from my Mage. If you want to see, want to see a video of it, I have on my channel. It's called Mage. Mission Above Globe Earth.
The Mage, the Mage.
Yeah. So on there,
can you post that video, please?
Can I post a link to it?
In the live stream.
Please. Yeah.
Okay, you'll have to give us a second. I'll just call that up.
Take your time. I've actually wanted to pick apart Mage for quite some time, so this is perfect.
Let me just real quick before you guys get into it. I'm gonna step back here because I done my bit. But just keep in mind, guys, debating flat Earth and globe Earth is back and forth. And so what we needed to do was point out to Mr. Sensible that he doesn't know what he's talking about, and it's clearly shown today that he doesn't. But he's going to continue on a point, but I don't care. At this point, it's just belief. But if you guys want to take him on a debate,
I have evidence.
it's going to descend into you guys like providing your evidence. He's going to provide his, and it won't get anywhere because he doesn't know that he doesn't know. That needs to be pointed out. At least I fleshed it out a little bit. So in this way, if it comes back around, you can say you don't know what you're saying because you're only 99.9% sure that you know what's going on. But that's fine.
I've just posted it. I've just posted it. There are 3 cameras on that weather balloon. One was pointing up, looking at the balloon. That's a wide-angle camera, just to show because we had it, and it's just to show the balloon as it expands. There is a rear-facing camera labelled as wide cam, which is just for the view. The main camera, the one that has the strings across it, that is a non-distorting. It is not fisheye. It is not wide-angle. It's a non-distorting lens. That's the image that I'd posted above. Sorry, what's that? Someone's posting something there. And it shows curve.
I drew the horizon for you in a green line, and I don't got a curve.
Hold on 1 second, I've got a phone going.
Well, luckily for Mr. Sensible, level is curved.
That's the guy calling that said, hey, don't be presenting that as a curve.
A bit shortly.
Yep.
Sorry, guys, I missed what you said. Say again.
I said, luckily for you, level is curved.
Right, well, you can see the 2 lines, the yellowish one and the darker one. Those are taut strings. They're spring-loaded or spring-taut strings.
So you've got the secret picture of the globe we've all been looking up for, and you're complaining about bendy oil cranes. And you need to remember, anytime you reference those oil cranes, the actual geometric horizon of the Earth, if it were a 39, 59-mile radius spheroid, would be in front of both of those oil rigs. They would be behind the curve. I think you've made it clear that you don't quite even understand.
Oh, I understand.
How little the Earth actually is.
There are plenty of images with those oil rigs partly behind the curve, hidden behind the horizon.
You must have wax in your ears. What I said was, if the Earth were the spheroid they're claiming it is, the geometric horizon would be in front of both of those oil rigs.
Yes, and you have always a level of refraction, which
and if you stand in the fog, you can't see your hand in front of your face.
Well, anyway, you were jumping away from the subject, which was my Mage photograph, which shows a curved horizon from a view of 35 kilometers.
Oh, let me guess. You believe the moon landing propaganda?
Oh my God. Yes, I believe we went to the moon. Because all the available evidence points to it. And hell, it was in the middle of a space race. If it wasn't true, the Russians would have called them out.
Fake space race, but yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You just got out of high school.
No wonder you believe all that shit.
It still boils down.
Guys, just to give you a heads up, just off topic a second. I'm going to have to go in about 2 minutes, okay?
Yeah,
so
I guess you would.
Yeah, because that was my wife just calling me. I've got to go in a minute.
Okay, well then
so come back when you're 100% sure, and that way
on anything. If you're 100% sure on anything, let us know.
That way, at least you've convinced yourself first before you try to convince. Because right now you're just bullshitting. You haven't convinced yourself.
Propaganda that's
I've shown you.
Are you 100% sure you're married?
I've just shown a photograph taken from a still from video footage taken from a height of 35, just over 35 kilometers. You've got the 2 straight lines and a curved horizon.
So just come back. Hey, listen, man. Come back whenever you feel frosty and you want to talk to us about what you don't know. Once again, it's great.
Very funny.
I'm just saying, man. Like we just pointed out that someone's
playing Neil deGrasse Tyson. Yeah, that's a guy, and he was wrong about that. And if there is also a clip of Felix Baumgartner.
Sure he's a guy? Are you
There is a clip. If you're not going to let me speak, guys. If you're not going to let me
Are
speak.
you 99.9% sure you're alive or 100% sure you're alive?
Yeah, when you can plant a flag and you've convinced yourself, you are sure that there's no doubt in your mind that what you're saying is true, then at least people will say, well, he's convinced himself. Now let's explore what he's talking about.
Convinced. But I am honest enough to allow for the possibility, unlike you guys, that I could be wrong. You won't read evidence. You won't. You are in a position. Guys, is it possible that I could come up with some evidence, something that would make you think, do you know what? He's right. The Earth's a ball.
Nope. No,
he said no because you're 100% sure it's flat.
Yes, we're
okay.
sure.
Which means by definition you're not scientific about this.
Oh,
and not honest
your
about
definition of science is wrong then. So yeah,
whatever. Anyway, guys, listen. What I will say is this has been a polite and interesting chat. I am going to have to go, so I'll thank you for the chat.
Return whenever you want. Yeah, this is an open forum, so just come back whenever you want.
Yeah, man.
Okay. And also, for the sake of openness, I have been recording the voices, and I may release this as a video unless you have any particular objections.
No. You do whatever you want, man.
Yeah, man. Let it rip. Yeah, knock yourself out. Let's have people hear this because real ones will know. So.
Okay.
You do what you do. Point out what you want to point out. It's all good. I don't care.
Okay. Lovely. Thank you very much. Good night.
Later.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Very fun. I've already stopped recording. Bye-bye.
Yeah, don't put that in your recording.
100% flat smacked.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
Do you know, guys, I probably will come back again sometime because what I haven't got is just loads of abuse from you guys. Just so I haven't abused you, so that's good.
Yeah.
Just
bring some measurements, please.
Let us know when you're.
Yeah, well, I did. I brought Mage. But anyway, look, I really have to go, guys.
Mage is not a direct measurement.
Are you 100% sure about this abuse thing?
Yeah.
Are you 100% sure you're recording?
Yeah, are you 100% sure of abuse?
Am I 100% sure recording? I tell you what, that shows you. I came into a Discord. I came into a Discord one time, recorded a whole conversation, and then found out I hadn't pressed record. So I thought I had. I was wrong. I have this time, I hope.
You spend that long around flat earthers and didn't get paid for it.
Man.
Must be terrible.
Right, I'm going. See you again, guys. Bye-bye.
You do forget,
Take care.
we are on YouTube.
Yeah, they don't know this.
You can always catch it there.